wearing glasses, and I was afraid that would upset me. To, you know,
It never did. I don't even move my head.
um,
It doesn't. I don't even.
I
know
just
the difference.
told him to get me the long ones, and I'll just move them
Yeah,
up and down.
my father-in-law just had his cataracts done, and he did it for distance. So now he needs glasses.
Okay, now this is on, right?
Yeah, but we're talking about glasses, and
Okay, this is one of the other new horses that came in about, what, a week ago? Maybe?
Yeah.
2 weeks ago. And again, he has the overchecked neck. The overchecked neck. We
I
can
like
start a
that.
song
We can
about
talk
that.
about
The overchecked neck. He's not being bad. He's used to having an overcheck on him. So he's raising up. I forgot how old they thought he was, but...
Well, I know one was 24, one was aged.
I know he's not 24.
And one was like teens, like 14, 15.
So again, age can be 12 and up.
Right.
He wasn't the old horse with papers.
Okay. I think this was the other one that was aged because the young one had that thing on his face.
What thing?
There's like a mark on his face or
A bump, right?
bump
That's
or
this
something.
one.
Oh, that is this one. Oh.
Yeah.
Then this might be the other one.
I have no clue. So until I can look at the teeth, and that's still guessing. With $25 being the thing, we can just do a bunch of them.
DNAs. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there you go. I have almost the whole thing to do the DNA on Juno. I said we were like $20 over.
There you go. Yep. He's I would bank on that he's going to have papers.
Let's reverse and walk. Now see, he has a more typical walk for an Amish horse because they're checked up and they don't like to just kind of drop and relax because the carriage is heavy. So they tend to kind of want to jig and pull a little bit. Now this horse is crooked. The other horse is pretty straight.
Yeah. That's what I was wondering.
This horse is a little crooked. He's not being bad. You know, it's all how you approach it. You go ahead and let him trot. When I first started training, I would describe a horse. Oh, this way. He's crooked the other way now. He's kind of switching. I would describe a horse as, you get one that kind of hugs the rail the first way.
And then goes.
And then you reverse and you go into the middle. And I would have said, well, this horse is used to lining up this way. And they ignore the fact that he was maybe dragging me on the rail. And so in my mind, it was something the horse chose to do. And when I had a reining horse friend of mine who's really a natural gifted horseman, would come out, he'd shoe for us, but he also would look at the horses and kind of give you ideas and stuff. He's the one that named it. Told me it was actually happening. That was way early on. And when he did that, then suddenly you know how to fix it, and you don't blame the horse. He's just crooked. Right now, his shoulder's pushed away from the rail, which will make him go towards the middle, which his head is tipped to the middle, which will make his shoulder push more away from the rail. So this takes, this is, once you know what's going on with your horse, then the next rule of thumb you have to think is they didn't get like that overnight, and they're not going to get better overnight. Because then the next thing that happens to trainers, if they're smart enough to figure out what's going on with their horse, which most of them don't, they go into the frame like I did. Start making circles in the corners, okay? So we're going to use a real easy way to help this horse. And I don't find this horse bad or evil or calculating or any of those things. In fact, I don't find most horses that way. Once you know what they're doing, you cannot fix it overnight because it didn't get like that overnight. You have to change the muscles around. And so what we're doing is When we get in the corner, we make a circle, which turns his head to the right and makes his shoulder go to the left. And if you get their shoulder to the left going this direction, they will stay to the... Now watch. He's going to turn it, and the shoulder's going to go out, the head's going to come in. And then when he comes back, he's still turning him to the right. See, he's straight for a step or two. Snickers? Get. Okay, now you should walk up the rail a little straighter. Very good, Ruben. Ruben felt that. He felt him starting to give, so he did a second circle. I don't do 100 circles down there. We do 1 or 2, maybe 3. Not enough to get him worked up or think he's doing anything wrong. But the one thing you don't want to do is make a horse think they're doing something wrong when you're trying to teach him something. Can you imagine going to school and if the teacher's going to hit you or yell at you or scream at you and you get to worrying about what they're going to do, you can't learn. Horses are the same way. So you need to find an easy way to get them to do what you want them to do and then expand on that. Sometimes I think I say all these pearls of wisdom and nobody listens.
Do you have people listening?
Yeah, are they listening, or are they just hear wah, 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 wah?
You mean the Peanuts teacher?
Who you got? Oh, yeah. You gonna jog him today? Okay. We need to concentrate on some of those going to the show a little bit, make sure they get out. Yeah, well, Boo's been done a lot. He can, but pick somebody out that need, like, well, Bougie needs to be done. I'm still thinking about, I want him to do Bougie, though, in a curb. I don't know. You got the list of who's going.
Is Bougie going?
Well, I'd like him to go and show in a full ride in a full bridle, so we got to ride here and see if he knows what it is.
Yep.
Because his papers don't show that he's ever shown, and they show he went straight from the breeder to somebody who didn't transfer him, which is usually Amish, which is fine.
Joan Phillips says she's listening.
Oh, thank you, Joan. Okay, now we're going to reverse, so you can kind of cut through the middle if you want. See how she's on the rail there and straighter? Her shoulder's still off the rail. You can see her hips to the rail. But now he's going to cut across and reverse. And what we should see is, if she's going to be consistent, is her shoulder's going to be to the rail and her butt's going to be a little to the middle. And I know it's hard for them to see this in here.
Yeah. Maggie Clark says they're all listening.
See how her butt's to the middle? She's not quite
an
Australian. It's a gelding.
It's a gelding,
I think.
Okay.
Oh, this was Srgt Smiley.
Okay.
Is who this is. We named him Srgt Smiley.
Okay.
I think he's the one that smiled and had kind of weird teeth.
Yep.
Right, so there you can see him coming down the rail. His head's looking to the middle, shoulders to the rail,
Yep.
and hip is to the middle. See how that is? He's kind of curved?
Yep.
Okay, so the way to fix that is to circle the other way. Let's go ahead. Did you trot this way? No. Let's trot. So, if I was a person that didn't know any of this stuff, I would say, look at this horse. He's rubbing you on the rail, then he wants to go line up. That's blaming your horse for making a conscious decision to be a jerk. And if they're crooked, which most horses are crooked this way, and I think it's because you lead them all the way. How much grain is he on? 1. We can cut him back a little bit to like 3/4. And he has to go in another barn. Him or a horse up here in the corner. Because we're getting a new horse in. Possibly today or tomorrow. So see how that shoulder's to the rail? That horse isn't coming off the rail at all. I will say this takes a good picture when they're bent this way and they're looking a little to the middle. It makes a better picture in the ring.
If I go over to the rail
And
when
go
he's
this
straight.
way, so they're looking to the middle a little bit. That's when they take better pictures. Because when they're curved the other way, they don't look very good in a picture.
Right.
I think this one cantered. So we're gonna, and usually these horses will canter one way better than the other, but not always.
Snoopy canters one way better than
Well, all horses will do that, but I don't know if he's crooked or not. But
slightly crooked.
when to make, all right, let's ask him to canter, Ruben. To canter, he has to get his shoulder a little off the rail. But this horse actually did pretty good. Straight. He was cantering. He kept holding to the rail. He needed to straighten him out, but he wanted him to get off the rail. This horse knows how to canter. There you go. Bring him arriba. So first we just let him go forward, because a lot of people don't necessarily lift their horses. They pull them back and just slow them down, and I bring them up. Okay, that's good. We're only gonna go around a little bit. Whoa. Yeah, that's Srgt.
Yeah.
This horse's name is Srgt Smiley. You can put just Smiley on if you want. Let's reverse. I like this horse. I think once we get him a little straighter, and I think he's got a good mind. He's not ready to go in a lesson program now.
No.
Not for any type of. He could go in one if you're teaching him, you know. Some of my kids, like Kara, one of our kids that rides here.
Okay.
She's good enough to follow directions and to help it. Okay, if you hear me over here burping, it's because every week I take another shot, and this time they up me.
Okay.
And I have an ulcer, and somehow when they up it, it makes everything kind of get a little out of balance, so it makes me burp.
Okay.
Hot, nasty, icky burp, but
Okay.
so no, yes, move away from. All right, let's canter. Whoop, he's crossed. There, you got it. Good. All right, you notice how he didn't have so much trouble to canter? That's because his head was already turned to the rail.
Rail.
We saw something. Here, he's a low rider there for a minute. You best not. He turned around. Pee Wee went out like he was going to chase away, and then he turned around and looked at me. Oh.
There we go. Sorry.
So that's it for this horse. We're not working him hard. We're just working him a little. That check is way too low. Okay. Okay. He is flexing nicely. We need to start putting the blankets on. We're finished with this one, so we'll do an otra. What? An otra nuevo. Okay, he can come in. Now, look at his mouth. That's why we call him Srgt Smiley. And he's got some big
Oh
old
my
hunger.
God, that is hysterical.
That's Srgt Smiley.
That's Srgt Smiley.
Mételo.
That-
El flaco es el que vaya al lado del pony.
That is funny.
That was very good, Ruben.
All right, between the last horse and this horse, which one?
Oh,
Which one? Last horse or this
who do
one?
you like better?
Last four.
But
But you
This
had a
one's-
nice ride on this one.
this one smiles, Ruben.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he does.
I know.
It's definitely.
He's happy.
I would say, yeah.
He's feeling better. They get out every other day, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna send you out, and when a new one comes in, we will come live.
Well, we got a new one, but we'll start